Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And I do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, on any device, anytime, in as little as 15 hours worth of effort, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, on today's show, The Entrepreneur's Journey, I'm so honored to have on the show my very good friend, international love coach, fellow mastermind member, and survivor of stage 4 cancer, Tomoe Cooper. Now, there isn't enough time in today's show to say all the great things about Irene, but what I will say is that she'll have an effect and impact your life in a very great way. I'm proud to call her my friend. Irene and I met a couple of years ago while we were attending some Mike Koenig's marketing events in San Diego. I don't recall how we actually met, which really isn't unusual for me. I tend to forget lots of details about past events, such as how I meet people. But I do recall that she has such a loving soul and personality. It's very difficult not to want to be around her. Now, even though today's show is the entrepreneur's journey, I have a feeling we'll be discussing the journey of life, talking about one's purpose, why we are put here, and how it is we can impact other people's lives. Because that's what Irene does day in and day out. The struggles we have as entrepreneurs pale in comparison to the battles people go through on a daily basis just to live their life. I think it's important for many of us to step back and think about how fortunate we are when times are tough, when things aren't going our way, when we aren't seeing the results that we want. We need to be thankful for what we do have. We need to keep moving forward. We need to keep going and never give up on our dreams. And Irene is a walking, talking example of that each and every day. Irene will be sharing with us how she is living her life to the fullest, has a strong, thriving, and expanding international business, as well as live in peaceful personal life while living with stage 4 cancer. Irene feels that if she's able to keep her head up high, travel the world while having a happy, harmonious harmonious love and work life, then you'll definitely be able to do so too. And today she's going to share with us just how she does it. Now, Irene Tomoe Cooper is a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connections, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. Now, fluent in Japanese and English, Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the US on love and relationship issues, specializing in East-West relationships where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompass male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. Well known as a dynamic trainer and mentor, Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. So be sure to stick around, because when I come back, we're going on the entrepreneur's journey with my dear friend and colleague, Irene Tomoe Cooper. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Today it's Entrepreneur's Journey, where we hear from an individual about their journey into entrepreneurship. Sometimes the journeys are like roller coasters filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, and even sometimes getting derailed from time to time. And sometimes it isn't necessarily the business journey that takes us on a roller coaster. Sometimes it's life that derails us. That's what happened to my guest today. However, she refuses to let cancer beat her, and she forges on living her life with grace, dedication, and purpose. For those of you who don't know who my guest is today, Irene Tomoe Cooper is an Amazon best-selling author of The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills, and has a Japanese podcast that has been downloaded over 95,000 times. She helps busy and successful global-minded Japanese women, single, 25 to 45, and right in my age range, who are career women and professionals who feel good about their work but do not have confidence in themselves or in their relationships. These ladies fear that they're going to be single forever, that they're frustrated that they can't find the man of their dreams, or fear that it's not possible for them to do so. Most of them worry they'll be too old to get married, or they'll no longer be wanted or desired by men, and they're frustrated that they don't have time to meet men. They're also afraid that if they do meet anyone, that they aren't going to be their type, or they're going to meet the wrong man, and they're really stressed out, and they're not able to balance their life and their work. Now, Irene works with these ladies and helps them through one-on-one coaching, seminars, retreats, webinars, and their training programs that she's created. So please give it up with likes, loves, shares, and a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for my guest today, my very good friend, Irene Tomoe Cooper. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you very much for having me on your show, John. I was so excited. Thank you.
I'm excited that you're on the show, actually. So, so for anyone who doesn't know, where are you located right now? You're in the UK, right?
At this moment, I'm in the United Kingdom.
And what time of the day is it?
Good question. It's 8 o'clock, a little past 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thanks for taking the time to join us today. I know that there's a lot of guests on the show that friends of ours that we've met over the past few years, and they're all on here to support you and definitely to hear what you have to say when it comes to your entrepreneur journey. So, name the book that impacted your life the most.
The book that impacted me the most, actually, it was when I was 16. When to answer the question, it's the "I'm Okay, You're Okay" book from Thomas Harris.
Excellent. So, when you were a young girl, who was your celebrity crush?
Jackie Chan.
Who?
Jackie Chan.
Okay.
You know, Chinese.
So, what either book, podcast, or show are you into right now?
Actually, it's sort of like a show. I just purchased the Coach John Wooden's Pyramid of Success.
Okay.
I'm very excited to listen to that.
Excellent. And are you currently working with any coaches?
Yes, I am. Should I name them?
Who are they?
Yeah, it's Ed Rush, Mike Koenigs, Pamela Hendrickson, and Gina DeVee.
Wow, lots of coaches.
I know.
So what is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie is An Affair to Remember. It's so old, but it's great.
Excellent. And are you currently involved in any masterminds?
Yes, one.
Okay. And name a person, either dead or alive, who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Oh, I'd love to meet Ellen DeGeneres. I think I'm saying her name
Very
right.
nice. Actually, I see that she just won or got a medal from the president yesterday.
Yes. She seems so fun. I'd love to meet her.
Excellent. And what is your favorite type of vacation? Is it a beach vacation or adventure tour?
Well, it'll be beach/resort.
Yeah, those are kind of my favorites too.
Yeah.
But there's always some adventure when you go to a beach/resort.
Yes.
And what's the best business advice you ever received?
It was when I was a platinum membership with Tony. The guy who sat next to me was a millionaire. He said, write down 10 ideas every day. He goes, if you do that, you will get 65 times 10 ideas, and one of them will absolutely be a big hit. And in fact, it was one of the reasons why I'm doing what I do now. So it's brilliant advice.
Excellent. And the last question is a two-parter. What is your favorite? Not what do you consume on a regular basis, but out of these, which is your favorite? Water, beer, or wine? Pizza, wings, or salad?
Wine.
Okay. And how about, that one was pretty quick. How about the pizza, wings, or salad? What's your favorite out of those three?
Wings.
So wine and wings it is. So
wine and wings.
Excellent. So Irene, could you fill us in a little bit on your background? So, where are you from, your education, what you used to do before you became an entrepreneur?
Sure. I'm originally from a place in Japan called Okinawa, and it used to be part of the United States right after the Second War, but it was reverted back to Japan. I grew up there, went to American school. My mom's Japanese, my father's American. So I grew up all in Japan, but I went to American school there, like I said, and for university, I went to University of California, Berkeley. And after that, my mom's a medical doctor, my father's a professor. And all this time, I always thought I'm going to be a medical doctor. So from when I was a child, I was saying, I'm going to be a doctor, and probably just made my mom happy.
Yeah.
But when I went to university, it was very difficult, as you know.
Yeah.
But and like 6-7 months, because you take general studies prior to medical school. So 6 months prior to graduating, I thought, I don't want to be a doctor. And I was dreading to tell my parents, but I did. And then I didn't know what to do in my life. I really was lost. So my dad just said, at least graduate and come back to Okinawa, Japan, and you can teach English or something and find out what you want to do. So that's what I did. So that's how I started, out of not knowing what to. At first, thinking I'm going to be a medical doctor, and then totally lost. I didn't know what to do. So I did tons of stuff, teaching. I went to taught in schools. Then I went to the U.S. government. There's a military base there, so I was a public affairs officer. I did tons of things, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But every single time, it was about someone saying, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this?" So the whole time, I was sort of like a plankton, just drifting and doing things that people said to do. So. But I was invited by one of my brother's best friend, who was a very senior person in a company in the United States, saying they're opening up a business in Tokyo, and they needed bilingual staff to oversee some of the operations. So I was hired by this company starting up in Japan. I was the 4th employee, and that was in 1994. And since then, I worked for a corporation. Every year, because we grew massively. Right. I was first in Japan, then I started up the Asian market. Then from there, I had the whole company actually that I was training. So I was promoted the whole time. So from there, they sent me to United Kingdom, to England, to oversee the European operations. That's when I became the vice president of this company. So I was very lucky. I worked my heart out, really worked hard, but I was a vice president of a corporation. So I worked for corporate for 10 years prior to becoming solo entrepreneur.
Wow. And what, so that took you, how long ago was that when you finished up your career with the corporation?
Actually, I left the company December 2004 and 2003, because I got, the reason is I got married to my husband. And during that time, I thought my goal was to be vice president of this of a company in a corporate. I had 340 staff around the world. It was great. I was doing great. And I thought I accomplished my task of being corporate and being successful as I wanted to be. And then I thought, well, my next job is to be successful in love. So I thought, if I completed my work, then I can just go into being a wife. And so I quit my job. I love my job, but I quit it because I had this notion that I wanted to be a wife, or, housewife.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I left corporate. A really stupid reason, but
So how did you end up meeting your husband? Did you meet him through work?
Yes, I did. He was one of our very important customers, and we weren't supposed to date customers at that time.
I guess that's why you had to quit.
Yes, well, I was supposed to. They moved me over to Europe to oversee the market, to learn, so I can go back to Asia to operate there. Yeah. So I kind of really ruined the expectations of my boss. I really felt bad, but I thought, well, this is my goal, so I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, it's your life. So, well, tell us the story about how you actually started in the relationship coaching business. So you went from a VP to an international company, leaving that job and getting married. Then how did you actually end up being a relationship coach or a love coach?
I know. So I quit work thinking I wanted to be a housewife, right? But I don't cook. And before I told my husband, I said, I don't cook. I don't like cleaning. I don't do all those stuff. So I don't know what I was thinking. So I got really bored after 6 months, and I thought, no, I need to find something. So for the first time in my entire life, I decided to look for a job. Because like I said, every time someone said, try this, and that's how I got employed.
Yeah.
But this time I went to the internet, and this was in 2005. I decided, because 2004, I was a year happily married. I got married 2004. So come 2005, I thought, I'm going to look for something. I went to the internet and then I found this company being promoted. It's a Japanese company starting up in Europe, in London. They were already successful in the United States. It was an introduction agency for East and West marriages. Okay. And I thought, I know how to do that. All these years I worked on, my corporate life as well as looking for my best soulmate. So I thought, this is perfect for me. So I applied. And then that day I got a response back saying, can you come tomorrow? I went the next day. Actually, it was a Skype interview. So I had a Skype interview. They hired me. So I started to work for an international matchmaking company in London, in a beautiful place called Mayfair, a really gorgeous, extravagant place. And that's the first time I got introduced to introductions or this relationship type of thing. And love coaching was not anything in my thoughts. It was about matchmaking. That's where I learned the art of what it means to be helping out with relationships. So when I was working, though, I loved my job. It's like high net worth people that you meet, so it's very stimulating, intellectual, and you can really help. They open up their hearts to me. These CEOs of companies, and I realized, gosh, this is really intimate, and I wanted to help out more. But what happened is that matchmaking company went bust after three years I was working. So in 2008, and it was horrible. It just went. It was a horrible experience. So what happened is all these people that I was helping out, all of a sudden the company just all of a sudden disappeared. So we were so communicating with the clients. So I kept that relationship. Even now, there are a few people that I communicate with since that time. But I decided that, well, I need to do something with these, with the clients. I wasn't making any money, but I was helping out. And one day my husband did say, though, he goes, how ironic that your company, this is when the company, before it went bust, he said, how ironic that you are saying that you're going to introduce, help them find relationships. But in fact, your company, my company at that time, not mine, but the company I was working for, we were making money by people renewing their contracts. So
by not finding a relationship, by not finding love, that's how they actually make their money.
Unfortunately, our company, there were few people who did match up, but matchmaking is very difficult. You have to be really skilled in it. And but how we were doing the business probably wasn't the best way. So when he said that, I was offended at first. I thought, no, we're doing our best. And then I thought, he has a point. Matchmaking wasn't for me, but I wanted to coach. I wanted to teach how to find their own soulmate instead of having someone saying this person is good for you. Right. So I started to, and I loved teaching. Like my first job was to teach English, and I love teaching. So what I started to do is do these one-on-one coaching sessions and helping these people find their own soulmate, and it worked. And all these people started to date or find their own person. So I thought, oh, this makes sense when people teach a person how to fish, and you can feed them for a lifetime, so to speak. You know, so that's really what started my concept of love coaching.
Excellent.